All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today titled Saving Lives in Ukraine with Crypto. This is obviously a topic of great importance. I'm Lou Kerner, and I'm with Crypto Oracle. We're a crypto advisory firm, and we put on webinars that are generally educational to help people understand how crypto works. But today, we've got a different kind of webinar about how, again, crypto is being used to save lives in Ukraine. And we're joined today by Michael Chobanian, Ukrainian, who is working with Central Bank and working with others in the community to let people donate crypto and use that, and he'll tell his own story. And after we hear from Michael, we'll hear from John Pleasance, who's also working with crypto to save lives in Ukraine. It's a wild topic, and I think we're going to have a super interesting show today. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Chobanian. Michael.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. Forgot what the unmute button is. So yeah, hello everyone. Michael Chobanian here, president of Blockchain Association of Ukraine, founder of local cryptocurrency exchange called Kuna. And since February 26, I'm also the, that's a good question. What's my position? I'm the founder probably of, or co-founder with the government of the first government crypto fund aided to finance the defense of the country. The fund is called Aid for Ukraine. And basically we collect crypto to buy some humanitarian goods that my country is requiring. So I could, I think I could just talk about it rather than showing the slides, because it will be more interesting. Let's go that way. So yeah, the history of it. So 24th of February, 5 a.m. I wake up from really loud bangs outside. The windows are shaking. The ground, literally the ground is shaking like a small earthquake, with a really loud earthquake. And I opened my eyes and I immediately realized that this is it. The war has started, because Western media has been, well, let's call it, cautioning us that the Russians will invade Ukraine, will start the war for about at least 5 or 6 months. And the closer to the 24th of February, the more they told us that Russians are going to invade Ukraine. To be honest, I didn't believe it 100%. I made it like 50-50, like with the crypto, whether it's going to go up or it's going to go down. So that was my take on it. But just because 50% is quite substantial, prior to that, like 1 month before that, I moved all of my team outside of Ukraine to European Union. So relocated with the families, with the children, with the mothers, fathers, with the dogs, cats, everyone. Like 2 planes. It took us 2 planes to relocate everyone. So yeah, I was prepared. Yeah.
When you say that you thought it was 50-50, what were the news sources were you listening to?
Obviously, it was the Western media, like like directly from the President Biden, directly from the Boris Johnson. I watched all of their public interviews or the public appearances where they mentioned Ukraine. CNN, BBC, like Reuters, Bloomberg, all of the top Western media. Obviously, I've read the alternative versions, like the Russian media. I've read Ukrainian media. I read the Al Jazeera and watched the Al Jazeera, because you always want to see the other opinions. And yeah, so it was like, someone said yes, someone said definitely no, and the Putin himself said a few times that they're definitely not going to invade Ukraine, and it's all bullshit. And eventually, it was a bullshit. He was bullshitting everyone in the world. So yeah, I woke up and I immediately understood that this is the war, and mm, it was a shock. To be honest, the first impression is shock. You don't understand what the hell you should do. Although I was prepared, I had like everything planned. I knew the drill. All my team that left in Ukraine, that was mainly the top management of the Kuna, was also in Ukraine, because I knew that if something happens, we are like to be fair and honest, we're richer than most of my colleagues. So I would definitely find the way out of Ukraine for money, or I have cars filled up with the petrol. I have like most of my staff packed. Everyone was prepared. So my top managers, they came to my home a couple of hours later, and I was just reading the news, watching these crazy videos, how like the rockets were destroying my country and so on. And a couple of hours later, when we saw the trend, like Luna, you can see the trend right now, Luna talking, yeah. But the same, we saw the trend. The war is escalating. So the Russian army is getting closer and closer to Kiev, and by midday, some of the armored vehicles of Russians were inside of Kiev. And it was like on the northern part, and I live on like the south part of Kiev. So basically, we understood that, we have to run. That's it. We are not soldiers. We use our brains. We don't use our muscles, or we don't use our guns. So we waited for everyone to come to my house, and from that, we just took off to the east, to the western part of Ukraine, closer to the Polish border. By the time that we started traveling, we there was like pretty much the whole, any road that you could see, it was just filled with red streams of the back tails, the red in the cars. So it was like the streams of red everywhere. We had to stay overnight in the car with my family, like with everyone else. It was just crazy. Anyway, but we were like constantly on the chat between the cars and discussing, okay, what's the plan? We have to escape ourselves. So like in the airplane, first you have to make sure that you survive, and then you help the others. So we got to the Carpathian Mountains, which are on the western part of Ukraine, and it was safe for us. And so we gathered and decided that, listen, we have to now help our country. I knew exactly that the Ukrainian army was not prepared. Like literally, we didn't have anything. So like we didn't have any bulletproof vest. We didn't even have the petrol to fuel the tanks and the armored vehicles. We didn't have like some high-tech equipment like the thermoscopes or regular scopes for the rifles. Or none of that existed in Ukraine on the first days. So immediately we decided, okay, listen, we have the whole financial infrastructure to launch the fund. Let's do the crypto fund. And we launched it like within a couple of hours, because as I say, everything was already set up. We were like crypto exchange. So basically we just open up a new account, and all the wallets that we support already support the donations. So I went on Telegram and on local media saying that we're launching this fund. And the next day, I got a call from the Minister of Digital Transformation saying, listen, this is a great idea. Let's take it the next step. Let's do it instead of just on your level, like one company. Let's take it to the government level. And we upgraded that fund to the First National Crypto Fund of Ukraine, which is now called Aid for Ukraine. And since that, we collected in US dollars terms at the prices, not current prices, but the 1 week ago prices, we collected at about $70 million. Most of it, well, not most of it, like 90% of it is already spent. So we were buying like everything. Trust me, we didn't have anything. So like even the simple stuff that you think that should be there, like underpants for the soldiers, we had to even buy them. We bought a lot of trucks full of first aid kits. we had to buy the daily
Where,
ration.
where are you going to buy this, and how is it getting delivered?
That's the easy part. Now it's easy. At the time, it was difficult. So we had a lot of crypto. So we're sitting on a couple of million. Well, it was quickly a couple of tenth of millions of crypto, and we had a lot of demand. And now we had to fulfill it. So basically, I went to, my team went and Googled where can we buy all this stuff, and obviously most of the companies didn't want to accept crypto. So we had to find the companies that would accept crypto. Obviously, that was in US and in EU, so two major jurisdictions. So we were trying to buy for everyone who was selling crypto. Then we managed to set up the fiat bridges. So we managed to verify a few of our charitable organizations on the FTX. So we had the US dollars account, so we could sell some crypto, wire that to the bank account of the charitable organization, and then use that money to buy for wherever we need. So that's what we did in within a couple of days after we set up the government fund. And
can you,
yeah,
can you talk about how the interaction with FTX?
FTX, really cool guys. So basically what they did, they speeded up the process of verification. So instead of being at the end of a line to verify accounts, so basically they just took us to the first place. We quickly got verification of our charitable organizations, my exchange and so on. And now we can use the infrastructure of FTX fully legally, just like any other company in the world. So we cannot buy weapons. This is forbidden. You cannot buy weapons for crypto. So anything that doesn't kill, we can buy, and that's what we're buying.
And when you had problems, were you able to call up FTX and they would solve the, getting to fiat? How did you solve that?
We had no problems with the FTX, none. So we didn't have to call anyone, but the CEO of the FTX is always online on the Telegram. So, but I never had the the need to contact him to solve any problems. So, in terms of this part, the FTX works perfectly. Really cool.
And then what challenges were there in terms of getting the government to do what was needed?
To be honest, that's the cool thing. So instead of waiting for the government to do something, because they didn't do anything before the war, obviously there was no point waiting for them to do something during the war when everyone is like in stress. So basically what we did right now is we organized the parallel logistics system for the government. So there is like a three government owned the companies that could do like this bulk buying of whatever is required, and we are the fourth, and we are fully independent. We are in crypto. We are not corrupt. We are fully transparent because all transactions are on the blockchain, and we have a ledger which links every single transaction to exact good that we bought. We use European and American charitable organizations also to provide some extra transparency. So they overlook some of our logistics as well. We use logistics hubs in Poland to deliver goods to Europe, and then Ukrainian cargo companies come to Polish terminals and collect wherever we just bought and deliver them to Ukraine. And then we know exactly which army divisions require what, because we collect the requirements. So we had to verify every single commander of the army, whoever is in need. So we did that. So basically it's like doing the crypto business is very similar. So first of all, you have to verify the person. Then you have to make sure that they're not like money laundering. In this case, they're not like stealing something. This was also a challenge. We managed to do that through a decentralized way. So we found the other people who could verify that this is commander who is definitely in charge, that they definitely require wherever they send the list of goods that they require, and so on and so on. So for us, it was quite easy, and that's what we did. So, during the war, you have to do what you can do.
Can you talk about the Polish then? And it sounds like they were in great danger as well, making deliveries into Ukraine.
I think there still are, not that just Poland, the whole of Europe, who's supplying us big guns. They're like, that Germany is supplying us with the tanks, with the big caliber guns. UK is supplying us even more. US is, having flights, or actually not just one flight. They have like 3 or 4 flights per day landing in Poland. There's the airport close to the border, just 30 kilometers from the border of Ukraine. And it's military airport. So the planes are just landing there with the heavy weapons. So obviously Poland understand that risk, but they also understand that they have the, let's call it the experience of Second World War, when no one helped them, and they were occupied by both Russia and, well, at that time it was USSR and Germany. So they understand the threat. That's why they're helping us a lot. So Polish government and Polish people are really helpful. And Poland now accepted more than 3.5 million of refugees from Ukraine, which is crazy. And wow. They helped with the relocation, with the schools, with everything. They're giving money to refugees. So yeah, I'm really grateful to all the countries that are helping us. The only country that doesn't help right now is from our neighbors, is Hungary. They are very pro-Russian. They don't support the sanctions, but I guess it's a politics, so it's not my topic of discussion.
And can you just bring us up to date on kind of where we're at now and what the outlook is like?
So right now I'm in Asia fundraising. In a couple of days, I'll be in Europe to attend Davos conference. We are also attending some charitable evenings in Switzerland. And then we are going to Consensus in Austin, Texas, the crypto conference. So we're going to be speaking there and raising extra money as well, because we need a lot.
Well, it's really amazing work, Michael, and I would have the pleasure. We started a meetup group called Crypto Mondays, and we started in New York in January 2018. We now hold it. There have been Crypto Mondays in more than 70 cities around the world. And so we'll be doing Crypto Mondays Davos on the 23rd when you're there. So I might reach out and see if we can get you to stop by. That'll be a great event with featuring Fireside Chat with Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple, who was also at the Paris Blockchain Week, where I first saw you speak, as well as Crypto Mondays Consensus. So, I think it's just, how would you describe your interaction with the broader crypto community? You've been working in this crypto community, obviously, for years now. Do you think of it differently, though, given this experience?
No, so this is also the, thank you for that question. That's also the other amazing part. So I explained what I did using my resources. The rest of community, so we have a couple of Telegram chats with all the key crypto people from Ukraine, the good people from Russia and Belarus that don't support the government there, and they left Russia and Belarus a long time ago. So we have these chats. So on 24th, everyone stopped talking about crypto and everyone started talking about where can they get the bulletproof vest, where can they get the helmets, and so on and so on. And this community launched in parallel 3 or 4, I think it's 4 other crypto funds. And basically we work in decentralized way. So there is no one like point of failure, because we have, well, including me, it's like five funds that collect crypto and buy pretty much the same goods and deliver it to the soldiers. So we are very decentralized. Everyone is doing wherever they can. A lot of people who were in NFT markets, they created these special NFT collections. I think we raised more than 3 million just on NFTs. So everyone is doing wherever he can, because he understands that's our motherland. You know, we have to protect it, and our weapon is our brain and our skills and our abilities and our freedom with the crypto. So that's what we're doing, and that's how we fight the war. We're not just fighting the Russia; we are fighting the stronghold of autocratic regimes with the decentralization. That's what we're doing.
Rock and roll, Michael. Thank you very much for sharing the story and for staying with us a bit longer. John's going to share his story now about his experience with the crypto community helping Ukraine from here in the U.S. So, John, welcome.
Thank you, Lou. Appreciate being here.
And you've had obviously in this long esteemed career in technology. How long have you been in the crypto world?
Since well, I've been thinking about it a bit, but I jumped into it when President Zelensky gave his speech to the EU on March 1st and made this famous quote after Freedom Square in Kharkiv was bombed, that every square in Ukraine was going to be declared a Freedom Square. And I was very moved by that speech.
And so can you then tell us about your experience?
First of all, I just want to salute Michael for what he's done. I mean, you said you're going to hear my story. I think you're going to hear a children's bedtime story compared to hearing a great novel that Michael just talked about. I mean, he's in the belly of the beast. He's doing the real work. He's vertically integrated. So just hats off to you, Michael, what you've done. And I think it's incredible. And I can tell you from an outsider's perspective, it's interesting to hear your story about the first days where there was like nothing set up and nobody was prepared and nobody had anything. And it's a miracle how fast people have moved and how seemingly better organized it was, just again, from sort of an outsider's perspective, because you've been under such duress and been able to accomplish things that have never been done before. So I just nothing but props. My story is a simple one. What I was thinking about mostly, as it relates to Web3, Lou, I'll be honest with you. I've been around technology a lot. I'm a little older now, so I go back to Web 1 and Web 2 and have worked on lots of fun projects, most of it, in the sort of like ticketing or dating or gaming spaces. So big, sort of direct to consumer spaces. And Web3 came around and I was not the, an early pioneer or someone who sort of understood it. I definitely had skepticism. Oh my gosh, someone just bought a video of LeBron James doing a dunk that's on YouTube for $200,000. Oh my gosh, someone's buying these crypto punks for XYZ prices at this point. And I felt fairly cynical in the beginning, but I was intrigued enough to kind of want to research sort of the fundamental things that are going on in Web3 and why this decentralization is so powerful. And so I started to get my mind around it, and I became convinced it was powerful. But what I wanted to do was put it towards things that matter. And so the two things that were top of mind for me were, I guess you could put the word saving in front of either one. One was democracy and the other is the environment. That those are sort of the two existential and generational challenges, of these times. And so my son, who's graduating college in just a week, has been thinking a lot about the environment. So I had a lot of stimulating ideas coming from that direction. And as I went down the democracy one, and I had a very much US framework in my head at that time. And everything really, I just thought if I could dumb everything down to voting rights, that's really the most simplistic thing. And that is, how can you have crypto affecting voting rights? And I will tell you, it gets to be a bit of a word salad convincing people that you can organize a project, because you very quickly get into gerrymandering and voter suppression, and you get into elected officials, and it just gets complicated. And it was right then that the war broke out. And so my brain had been spinning on this thing. I was in New York City. I watched this speech by President Zelensky, and I was like, my God, this is incredible. This is a real moment in time where this is bigger than, well, as Michael said, this is a war that is starting to look like World War II to me. I don't even mean in terms of its scope. I mean, it's in terms of like watching the footage, of the kind of terrible things that you're watching. But it also, it was a bigger, it's about sovereignty, and it's about, freedom, and it's about independence, and it's about peace and health and well-being and humanity. And it's, I was just really taken. I happened to just give one more detail. I happened to then go for a run in Central Park, which is one of my favorite places to take a run in the world. And, for anyone who's ever done that, when I come in near the zoo in Central Park, but then, you run around and you go by the reservoir, you got to go by the Met, you look at the Egyptian Cleopatra's Needle thing, you go around, you see lots of statues, you come down to get into Sheep's Meadow and all these different memorials and the clamshell in the center of the park. And there's a lot of memorials and landmarks in there. And there's a lot of gathering places that are kind of like town squares. And as I was on the run, I had this sort of aerial view of Central Park, sort of like the drone view or the top-down view map view. And that's where I sort of had this connective, this sort of creative idea of what if we actually could really create the freedom squares of Ukraine that President Zelensky just, declared. So here I am, and it's an idea, and that's great, but I don't know shit about Web3, really. I mean, and I'm not an engineer. So like, what are we going to go do here? So if you fast forward, we've created this project, and I would love to do a screen takeover, although Lou, if this is not too onerous on you, I might ask you to back me up here, because I realize I should have loaded this Zoom, I think, on Chrome. It would have been easier to get to that where this thing is loaded. And so you may see my email here, everybody, if I try.
Okay.
But if I fail here in a second, if you could just do it for me, just go to freedomsquares.io. That would be great. Hopefully I should be able to do it here. Let me see if this works for everybody. Did it come up?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is, 2 months of work. And I can tell you how we did it in a bit. It just launched yesterday in terms of this auction product that we are doing. So you can see here, just to give you a quick little tour, you can see here the quote from President Zelensky. You can see that this is a project with 6,580 NFTs. Very important is that we're doing this. All of the money is going to 2 organizations. I'll just scroll down to highlight them. One is CORE. This is the organization that Sean Penn and Ann Lee funded, that are doing a lot of refugee work. I think Sean was actually with President Zelensky doing some kind of documentary the day the war started, or certainly the day before. And they are set up in Poland and Romania, and perhaps other countries as well. I know those for sure. And they've been doing work in Ukraine as well. And then World Central Kitchen, people are probably familiar with Chef Jose Andreas and the work that he and his team are doing in many different locations throughout Ukraine. One of their kitchens was actually bombed about 10 days ago or 2 weeks ago, but doing amazing work, serving millions of meals at this point. I think it's probably north of 5 or 6 million meals already that have been served to the Ukrainian people that are in Ukraine. So when we do smart contracts, they wire directly to these organizations. Freedom Squares, this 501c3 that I've set up, does not see the proceeds from these NFT sales. So we are reliant completely on these 2 organizations to deliver humanitarian aid to people, to Ukrainian citizens who are suffering, whether they be in the country or whether they are refugees recently coming out of the country. So there's this auction going on right now, and if you wanted to, just get an idea, like what are you actually selling here? This happens to be, I got to remember this is Freedom Square, and so Michael, you probably recognize the sort of the topography, or the sort of the street view thing of this. We have 4 themes for these. So there were 1,617 squares that we went and mapped. And they're everywhere. They're from Odessa and Mariupol to Lviv and everywhere else. We went down to towns as there are 360 rares that flow through here. 360 is a nod to the number of cities that have more than 10,000 people in Ukraine. And anyhow, we did 1,617 squares, and then they're in 4 themes. The 4 themes here, you can see the colors, the Ukrainian colors for liberty. Courage is the second one, peace, the gold one, and then truth, which feels very, it's got a little silver in it, but it feels black and white because truth is black and white. Each of these cost 0.1 ETH. We'll go through the timing in a second. And then down here, the special edition is an animated one, which is 1 ETH. And then if you collect these 4 things, there's a collection mechanic here. Sorry, where am I? Oh, I'm in a little bit of a weird place. Sorry, let me get out of here. There is a collection mechanic, which is if you collect the 4, you can see here in the middle of any one square, we airdrop you this thing called the Guardian, which is the NFT with all 4, and that kind of gives you this extra status of being a guardian of that particular Freedom Square. We're partnered with a company in Poland, which is kind of cool. I had here somewhere. Sorry for all the scrolling and gotta figure out where I am. This company. I'm on the board of this company. It's based in Warsaw. It's called Displate, and they make metal posters. So a big thing for us, Lou, was trying to, if you go back to my original premise, was trying to, really take the Web3 newness and sort of digitalness and attach it to real things in the world. So yes, these NFTs are funding real humanitarian aid, but they also want to celebrate and acknowledge and educate about the real squares and the real personality and the real culture of Ukrainian people. I can tell you, just having done this project, I've been to Kyiv once. I've been to Kyiv, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. But just doing this project and QAing these squares, it's just amazing to learn about. You learn so much because it feels like the eastern and western parts of the country are very different. The north and south has a lot of differences. It's just really interesting looking at the history of these cultural landmarks. So anyhow, I'll sort of pause here and let you go. I'm going to come out of this thing and stop sharing the screen.
Okay, well, John, thanks a lot for sharing that story. I look forward to visiting the site and becoming a guardian.
Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah.
And
I guess the one thing I would say that was, let me go back to try to connect a little bit with what Michael was talking about. I think what's interesting about this project is I work with, it's probably up to 15 people that work on this team. They are completely distributed. They are from Barcelona to Pakistan. I know personally, I've got a couple of my kids in there, but I know personally, 2 or 3 very well, and then another 2 or 3 I've met once or twice, and the rest so half the team I have never met, and I probably know more on the team than other people. So most people have only met physically 1 or 2 people, and it's entirely run on Slack, and so it's just been really fun. It's like create a company in 2 months. That's So anyhow, we know we've raised several hundreds of thousands of dollars so far. The goal is to raise about 2.2 million between now and May 31st. So, again, wish us luck. If we sell out, that'll be a lot of, Ethereum's bouncing all over the place in terms of value. But the goal was to get somewhere between $2 and $2.5 million in between now and the next few weeks.
Yeah, that's thanks a lot for the for the work that you're doing. And what's interesting is what's the economics of how the NFT works too, to the degree even after they're sold, when they trade, you can continue to make money. That's
all aftermarket commissions in perpetuity are going to be going to either these 2 organizations or organizations. We're very particular about this. If for some reason one of those 2 organizations was to move to some other humanitarian crisis around the world, we will make the contract then route to new organizations that are delivering humanitarian aid to Ukraine. It is a Ukrainian project.
Yeah. So look, that's terrific, John and Michael. I'm sure that you've heard of projects from around the world, like John's doing, that people are working together to just help Ukraine to the extent that that they can. As last words, as wrap up the webinar. You're going around the world, still trying to raise money for the people that are listening, who want to help. What what are the ways that you would suggest that they, the things that they can do? Michael?
Sorry, I was just typing up the website to show. 1 second. Should I send it here or should I show it?
Yeah, well, if you can actually put it in the chat, and then we'll make it available on the, on the replay.
Here we go. It's in chat.
There you go.
Thank you.
And so here we go. I'll just share my screen for a moment. Yeah, there we go. And so if you go to the site, and then there's,
Just scroll down. Scroll
Yeah.
down.
Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. FTX, Kuna. What is Everstake? Kuna's your
Everstake
company.
is one of the partners of this fund. It's a Ukrainian company, well, Ukrainian roots company. That's the largest staking company in the world. They stake pretty much every single blockchain where staking is possible, and they're number one there. So they're good guys from Ukrainian crypto community.
Hey, Michael, I got a quick question for you, if it's okay, Lou, if I
Yep.
jump in for a
No,
second.
yes, definitely.
I'm just, it seems like you've done, the country's done, has had the benefit somehow of staying connected. Just from a technology standpoint, these things are all able to stay up. Is it a Starlink thing, or is it just the infrastructure is held in terms of connectivity?
Well, first of all, the infrastructure held. That's a good thing. But then the Starlink, we received more than, a couple of thousand now Starlinks, and they work really well, because in the first days, the Telegram, everyone is on Telegram in Ukraine, and during the first days, Telegram was really bad, so you couldn't make a call, video calls, or just don't forget about them. So we were using Slack, we were using like any other messenger that we could. But the infrastructure worked really well. So it's also quite decentralized. I'm the ex-telecom guy, so I know how it's structured, and it worked really well. So
That's great.
that helped. But good point, because that's like the key infrastructure for everything. If Russians would have shut down the internet at that time, I think we would have lost immediately, because I mean, no one could understand what the hell is happening, where you need help, and so on and so on. So yeah, the decentralized internet or alternative internet is a big question for the Web 3.0, definitely. We shouldn't just rely on Elon Musk, because it's just the same centralization, just different one. So mesh networks, something like that. So we're gonna have to solve that problem as the world community.
Yep.
Yeah, so something like Helium.
Helium, yeah, I was going to say Helium, yeah, something like that. Set up the nodes, yeah.
Yeah, it's it's so amazing how these technologies can be used to, as John was saying, help save democracy, because it needs a lot of help. And so, as we wrap up, I'll let each of you just say a last word that you'd like to leave folks with, and John, why don't you go first?
Look, I'm honored to be here. Grateful. People are listening. I think it's an incredible moment in history. I think the Ukrainian people and will has been remarkable and commendable at the highest levels, and so it's an honor to do to attempt my tiny little part here, and to the degree that people can help us help them. If you just follow us, or you just like us, or you share, if you thought it was cool and you share it with people, it's just driving awareness with the Web3 community, so we can hopefully sell out and make our contribution as high as possible, and in success, hopefully do more things in the same vein.
Okay, thanks, John. And Michael, you get the last word.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for everyone who already donated. Thank you everyone who help us spread the word. Final two key things. So first, how crypto saves lives. Just the example. To buy a bulletproof vest using crypto, we need 30 minutes. That's the 3 confirmation by Bitcoin. If we're paying in Ether, that's like a minute. If we're paying in USDT on the Tron network, it's also under a minute. And the supplier receives the money. If we're using the fiat system, the SWIFT from Ukraine, well, first of all, you can't buy US dollars in Ukraine right now. And without US dollars, you cannot buy anything outside of the world. That's the key issue here. So with the SWIFT, if somehow you received US dollars on your SWIFT account, it takes minimum of 3 days to reach Europe or US. If you're lucky and you don't get on a weekend, that's a 3 days. Realistically, with all the bureaucracy, with all the checks by the National Bank, and if it's a weekend, it will take you 5 days just to pay for the goods and services. In the 5 days, people are standing on the front line without any protection. You can understand the casualties of that. So when I say crypto is saving lives, I mean that we literally save lives by buying stuff much faster. The other thing for the crypto community, John said the Web3 is the life hack that, well, not the life hack, it's just a hack. So we hack the government. Now every single government official, especially in the ones who have guns, knows that crypto saves lives. So they're like strong supporters of crypto. We have everyone talking about the crypto. The president is talking about the crypto. The prime minister is talking
В
about
таком
crypto.
расстоянии я не думаю, что вы приедете раньше. Это
So,
очень маленькие
someone
расстояния.
just hacked us. I guess.
Even some of your audience is excited about crypto.
Yeah. So the only people who are excited about the who's this? Yeah. So the Taras, у тебя походу звук. Yeah, so the only people who are not excited about the crypto in Ukraine is the National Bank. And that's not just in Ukraine. In any single country, they are not excited about the crypto. They are feared of the crypto. So yeah, the cool situation in Ukraine, the good side of this war, that if you can call it that way, that we have the #1 country in terms of crypto adoption, not just from the regular users, but from the government officials. So now we can propose like crazy ideas in decentralization and crypto. And that's what I propose. So I'm going to come to Davos. I'm definitely going to meet you there. And there I'm going to talk about using Ukraine as a sandbox for Web3 technologies, because we can do that. We have nothing to lose. The infrastructure is almost destroyed. The cities are destroyed. The government is inefficient. It doesn't work properly. So we can substitute government by Web3 technologies. And that's really cool thing. And that's what I want to share to the, to not just to crypto community, but for all the people who don't like governments and they prefer freedom, decentralization, and liberty. And that's my final point. And thank you everyone who helped us with the information, with donations, with the NFTs, with the projects like John has showed us. So thank you everyone. And I'll see you in the nearest future in Davos, and then in Consensus. We're going to see each other.
In Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Great last word, Michael. Thanks, John. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.